What's going on, guys? Welcome to another video. I'm your boy NarikChase, and in this video, we're going to be reviewing Batman Arkham Origins. Now, Batman Arkham Origins is the third installment in the Batman Arkham video game series, but if you're counting chronologically wise, it is considered a prequel. Now, the story ends up taking place 2 years after Bruce Wayne ends up donning the cape and cowl, and he's sitting here cleaning up Gotham. But we get a very interesting threat posed to him in the form of Black Mask, who decides that on Christmas Eve he's going to put a bounty out for $50 million to whoever kills Batman. Thus, we get our story. Now, for those who like Arkham Asylum and Arkham City, I can honestly say that Arkham Origins actually is a really good game that actually fits into what we have established as the Arkham series. I think it does bring in some new and interesting elements, but at the same time, there are some points that could have been done a bit better. As far as Arkham City, which pretty much reigns as the best Arkham game as of now, it does expand upon what was introduced in Arkham City exponentially. You get the whole of Gotham. Now, in terms of the story, it's actually a really interesting and fast-paced story. Batman is cleaning up crime on Christmas Eve. Things are going down. The people are inside. They're not able to celebrate the holiday. And Batman has to not only contend with a whole shit ton of criminals that just decide that they just want to have a fucking party. He also has to contend with these 8 assassins that have come to claim that $50 million bounty. Now I like I like this story because now I do like that story because now the hunter has effectively become the hunted, and it's actually pretty cool to see Batman's kind of edge. What bad guy's going to pop up when you have to deal with that type of when you deal with one assassin, when's the next assassin going to pop out? I love the concept of that. So you have Batman who's hunting these criminals who ends up being hunted himself, and I think that's an interesting story. But it is a lot more to the story that does form some really interesting twists. Now there is a character that does return for this game, and it kind of makes me think that this game is kind of built just to bring that character back, and that is the Joker. Now, for those who haven't played Arkham City, the Joker got killed in Arkham City, and because the Joker is what you could call Batman's arch nemesis and one of the most successful characters in Arkham series, I think this game is actually kind of geared towards bringing that character back. And honestly, I'm not gonna lie, it's actually done in a pretty effective way, in my opinion, and it does fit into the prequel setting as well. Now, there are a shit ton of characters that get brought back in this. You get to meet Batman is sitting here doing his thing. You actually get to talk to Alfred Pennyworth, his butler. You get to see all of these other characters, James Gordon, Barbara Gordon. You get to deal with a lot of his Rose Gallery type characters. Not only these assassins, including Killer Croc, Bane, as well as Deathstroke and Deadshot, but you get other characters as well. Lady Shiva, you got the Mad Hatter, the Penguin makes a return, Black Mask. Just a fun cast of characters that you all know and love from the Batman franchise. And if you're going towards like campaigns and stuff like that, it's pretty extensive. Yes, you will get uh, um, and if you're one of those people that like playing the game just to get through the story, yeah, you can have that. But I think it would take that. I think the game would be I think the game would be much better not only if you implement playing the story, but also exploring the cities, whereas the various side missions and items that can be recovered, or completing the various side missions, which makes for a very extensive campaign experience. Now, where does the gameplay fall? If you like the gameplay from Arkham City, it's done better in this game with a couple of more refined tweaks to it. with a couple of more refined tweaks to it and some added little tidbits here and there. The whole, as I've said, Gotham City Gotham City is extensive. It's open world. You're able to explore it at your leisure. There is one part where you can't really get across this bridge, but then once you get parts past a certain part in the mission progression, you can get past it. Now, I'm not going to say the bridge sequence is pretty cool, but can be tedious at times. But luckily enough, because of how big the map is, that they have implemented fast travel in this game, which I think is actually pretty cool. Now, for those who love the combat system, which is actually one of the best combat systems in the video game, it's actually done real well. There are some added tidbits when it comes to utilizing the equipment and weaponries with the combat flow system. Of course, you got new things such as the shot gloves that when you build up your combo enough, it ends up electrifying your attacks, making them that much more effective. The game does have its new types of bad guys that present even more challenge. I like the ninjas. They do make it to where Batman has to change up his combo attacks because they will counter him in some instances, as well as some more brute style characters to make actual evasion, as well as to make assaults to make the full hand to hand a bit more difficult. I really did appreciate that as well. We don't get the use of the bat vehicle in this game, which is which kind of sucks. We aren't able to use the Batmobile in this game, which kind of sucks. But movement via flight is pretty cool, and the fast travel does allow for some time to save on time as well. Of course, characters. The whole Gotham City has tons of memorable locations and a lot of exploration. So there is a lot to gain from just going around, flying, just going into these different areas, learning more about how the city is built up and everything. So if you really enjoyed exploring Arkham City, you'll definitely enjoy exploring Gotham City. You will not be disappointed. I really appreciate things like that. So I really appreciated the presentation of Gotham in this game. Now, I will admit some of the negatives towards the actual open world aspect is it's one continuous setting of it's just snowing at night. And of course, this all happens in one night, but it does feel somewhat dull in that aspect. And if you're actually thinking about it as well, it the citizens are you're in the city with these citizens, but you don't see any citizens. And it would be pretty cool if you can actually see citizens being robbed, being beaten up, or something like that, and you could actually stop to save them, which would make the city feel a little bit more interactive. Which I will admit, a lot of people say that the city does feel a little bit lifeless. And even though you got criminals everywhere, it just feels a bit repetitive in that instance. It would have been nice to see more moving vehicles. It would have been nice to see people trying to get away from these criminals. It would be nice, more focusing on, police dealing with criminals and things like that. But for what we get, it's still actually a decent run. Now, players are able to upgrade their characters via experience as well as the story progression. Of course, to unlock better combos, better abilities towards stealth, become a stronger individual. You can unlock different skins, of course. There are shit ton of what's it called? There are a shit ton of challenges that allow for more experience gained. However, one of the biggest improvements in this game over Arkham City and Arkham Asylum are the boss battles. Fucking boss battles in this game are just awesome. The bad guys are very diverse. They have different means of fighting you, and I like that. And I like the fact that some of them actually, they're multiple. You have multiple battles with them, and each battle gets much harder than it was the previous time. So I really appreciated that. The only problem I had with these assassins and assassin battles is that some of them are just one off. You beat them one time and that's it. And you're like, they're supposed to be the greatest assassins in the world. So why do you fight them one time and then that's it? No. That's one reason I like Bane so much in this game, because Bane in this game, you fight this guy like 3 times. So I would have liked if these guys are the best assassins in the world, to be for them to be multiple battles, as well as if you're not scripted per se, not scripted missions per se, but them hunting you, and you really don't get that sense in this game that these guys are actually hunting you. It feels like it's just a part of the story. Like I would have liked to have been, I don't know, chilling on the rooftop and then one just jumped me. Like I think that right there would make the surprise make them more prominent throughout the game, keep the threat level high, as well as making the battles. And I'm not saying to do it to the point where it feels repetitive. Maybe had about 2 or 3 times where you're doing something in a certain type of area, and then that person jumps out on you. You have a quick battle, they disappear, and then through the through the progression of the story, have the final battles during the story, so that way it makes them feel more relevant. Like I liked Firefly, and that only fight that you really get with him is on the bridge, and that's about it for his character. So I would have liked a little bit more from the boss battles, which I really enjoyed. Yeah, if you like the way Arkham Asylum look, if you like the way Arkham City look, you'll love the look of this game. It looks really good. It looks pretty badass. It's got this very just dreary look to everything. Gotham City looks awesome. It does manage to capture that really cool neo noir look that they had in Batman the animated series. So it kind of has this really like modern slash like old school look to it, especially with the night setting and the snow and everything. So I really like the look of it. I think the cinematics are fucking awesome. I like the detail of them. I like how they look. I like the presentation and animation of the characters. I think that overall this is a really good looking game, even down to the way it sounds. The sound effects are fucking awesome. They're great. They're on point. I love the music. It can be dreary. It definitely has a very good nice subtle edge to it as well. Voice performances are fucking awesome. Yes, we don't get Kevin Conroy, nor do we get Mark Hamill for the yeah, and yes, the voice performance is good. We don't get the original Batman and Joker voices, but these guys that do the stand-in are fucking awesome. I really enjoyed the voice performances in this game. And it's one thing that this game does, and it does handle well. And I do like the replayability. Of course, like I said, there should have been a bit more to the boss, to these assassins, where you can either. There should have been a bit more to the assassins when it comes to them in the actual role in this game. So I say that would be kind of a problem for me in it. But I did appreciate all that you can do in the game. Number one, I mean, you got tons of exploration of the city. You can move anywhere that you want to go. Really appreciate that. Of course there are side missions that you can do, whether they're more character related, whether you are trying to oops where you're going after penguins arm caches, whether you're dealing with the riddlers. I mean, if you there are so many different side missions in this game that just keep this game really enjoyable. Even after beating the damn story, you can choose to find and disable the penguin's arm caches. You can go out and try to find the Riddler data handlers to get more information concerning the Riddler. Of course, you can go and find black mass drug shipments and blow them motherfuckers to hell, and even disable bombs by this mysterious anarchy character. Hell, the GCPD will even dispatch you to help deal with criminals, which is fucking awesome. And do not let me forget, one of the best additions to this damn game are the crime scene investigations, where you play back certain crime scenes to figure out how a person was killed and possibly who did it. You can, and where the game allows you to try to to replay sequences of how persons died using investigation techniques only Batman could damn do, and possibly find out who the killer is. Those things are freaking awesome. I wish they were a little bit more diverse in how they were presented, but I think they're actually pretty cool. And I wish they were a little bit less focused on the story and a little bit more diverse, like there'll be more of them, but they are pretty fun. So what do I say about Batman Arkham Origins? It's a good entry to this series, not as strong as Arkham City, but it's still a really good entry, and it does have a lot to present. No, wait, hold on a second. Oh, sorry, I almost forgot. And for those who just love the combat and stealth missions, those bad boys come back in here and they are fierce, especially when you get to play as Deathstroke. Definitely, well, hold on, but never mind. Love the combat and stealth missions. They are arguably one of my favorite aspects of the game. They're fucking intense, they're fun, and I really enjoy the fact that, I'm really glad that they brought that, and I'm really glad that they brought those modes back. They are really fun. Now, as far as the multiplayer, I think it's an actual interesting idea. I have not played it. The basic gist of it is you get it's two 3-man teams and they're going at it in an arena, and then you have someone playing as Batman and Robin who are just taking them out. So it's basically 4 teams going against each other. One represented by Bane's crew, one represented by the Joker's crew, one represented by Batman's crew. So I think it's an interesting and it looks. I think so I think it looks like a really interesting mode. I just haven't personally played it, unfortunately. And of course, these games had a new game plus where you unlock everything, but the game gets much harder, which I have yet to do also. But having said that, this is actually a really good entry to the Arkham series. It's not as great as Arkham City, admittedly. However, it does present its own good challenges as well as enjoyment and interesting tidbits and interesting presentation to the Batman lore. Now there are a few negatives that I did have with the game. Of course, yes, there could have been a bit more activity in the city concerning possibly the police as well as the citizens. Yes, also, yeah, everybody would love to be able to use the Batmobile in the open world city, but it's not in there, and it's not really a big issue for me. Also, I would have liked to been able to play with additional characters, but that's another little tidbit on my part. And also the boss battles. As much as I love the assassins and the boss battles, I really wish the assassins had multiple encounters. In fact, all of them had multiple encounters before you taking them out. However, However, guys, what Batman Arkham Origins does lack in those little nitpicks that I had, it does have a abundance in everything else. The combat is awesome. There's a great leveling up system. The open world aspect of Gotham is good. You get a lot of the great characters that you love. You got great voice performances, the sound effects, the music, the visual effects are just handled nicely. It's just an all around good game and a great and fun experience. Has fucking awesome ass boss battles, and there's a shit ton of unlockables and replayability. Not to mention playing as Deathstroke is actually pretty cool, as well as those. Not to mention, of course, the Predator mode and combat mode return. You get to play as Deathstroke, and you got those crime scene investigation missions, which are really pretty cool. So, having said that, Batman Arkham Origins deserves 3, 4 out of 5. So in the comment section below, guys, let me know, what are your thoughts about Batman Arkham Origins? Do you think it is a necessity in the Arkham series, or do you think we could have just pretty much not had this game, just jump straight to Arkham Knight? Be sure to hit that like, share, subscribe, and that notification button to get the best of what we got going on this channel. And remember, guys, hit that notification button because it lets you know when we are uploading and when we are streaming. So we will be having more content on this channel weekly. Y'all stay tuned for that. And also, let me know. Uh, anyways. All right then, guys. Catch you guys later. Have a good one.